By the 10th century CE, even as invasions in northern Bharat affected the nation, majority of southern Bharat was largely unaffected. Study of scriptures, trade, art and architecture, all of it flourished. The Chaulukyas, Eastern Chalukyas, Eastern Gangas, Kakatiyas, Yadavas, Pandyas and Hoysalas were the empires of the times. However, one of the most important kingdoms of the era in terms of size, power and cultural achievements were the Cholas. Under them, South India reached the pinnacle of its glory between 9th and 13th century.
Rajaraja Chola, born as Arulmozhivarman, was a visionary leader who took over the throne in 980 CE. Rooted deeply in his culture, Rajaraja was one of the greatest patrons of art and architecture. The grand architecture of the Periya Kovil or Brihadishwara temple in Tanjavur adds to the Chola pride. One can't stop wondering at the finish of the Chola bronze depicting divinity, especially because they are over 1,000 years old.
Did you know that Brihadishwara temple was built with more than 130,000 tons of granite? Brihadishwara temple is the first complete granite temple in the world. The temple has a huge statue of Nandi at the entrance. The statue is carved out of a single rock and weighs around 20 tons. The Shikara weighs more than 80 tons, was transported to the structure's apex via a gently sloping ramp that was 4 miles long.
When it comes to the military conquest, Rajaraja defeated the Chera and Pandya counterparts and annexed their territories. He became Mummudi Cholan, the one who reigns over the 3 kingdoms. He was the first to go overseas. He further expanded into Anuradhapura, the current day Sri Lanka. His chronicles also speak of his conquest of 12,000 islands on the sea, referring to the current day Lakshadweep and Maldives. He further expanded into Mysore in the west and Kalinga in the east.
The Cholas were truly pioneers in recognizing the importance of a strong navy. Their supreme authority in the seas went to the extent where the Bay of Bengal came to be called a Chola lake. Having a superior navy made sure that Bharat was able to exert considerable influence in overseas regions. Pagan and Kamboja, that is Cambodia, Southeast Asia, Java, Sumatra, Borneo and Bali were all kingdoms that formed a part of Dvipantara Bharat, that is Bharat beyond the seas. Despite expanding into other regions, the Cholas were not interested in occupying the territory forever. In 1025, Rajendra Chola, son of Rajaraja Chola, travelled to Sumatra island using the monsoon winds and raided about 14 Srivijaya ports. Urged by high tribute, strict rules, pirate-like activities and to solve the initial conflict between Srivijaya authorities and Tamil traders, Rajendra Chola attacked on the kingdom. He was the first to capture Kadaram, that is Kedah in present-day Malaysia, and took the title of Kadaram Kondan. The main ports around which the Cholas operated were Nagapattinam, Kadalur, Poombuhar and Thoothukudi. Starting with the humble sailboat Kattumaram, there were different types of boats and ships designed like the Kalam, Medavai, Kappal, Odam, Sangara and Kolandia. Those days, travelling in mid-sea was always a challenge. High tides, rain, lightning, attack by pirates was common. So, the goods taken via sea might get lost too. In order to mitigate the risk, the goods were insured. Did you know that the practice of insurance has been in place right from the Vedic age? The Chola soldiers undertook people welfare activities when they were not at war. Built by Rajaditya Chola with 1 lakh soldiers, Veeranam tank is the largest man-made tank which is 20 km long, 7 km wide. Originally has a capacity of 1.465 to 1.5 billion cubic feet of water. It is connected to the Kollidam river to the pit, thus making it a new source of water for the resting soldiers as well as for the people living in that region. He named it after his father Parantaka Chola, who had the title of Veeranarayanan.
Rajaraja Cholan embarked on a mission to recover the hymns of the 63 Nayanmars after hearing short excerpts of the Thevaram in his court. The scripts were discovered in the form of leaves, half eaten by white ants in the Thillai Nadaraja temple, Chidambaram. To open the chambers, the arrival of the Nalvar was mandatory. To save the scripts, Rajaraja created their idols and brought them to the temple through a procession.
Rajaraja thus became known as Tirumurai Kanda Cholan, meaning the one who saved Tirumurai. Did you know that many of our current system of governance have developed from the Cholas? Their electoral system was very unique. There were 30 wards in each village and representative of each ward was elected through the Kudavole system. Name of the contestants were written on palm leaf tickets, dropped into a pot and shuffled. A child picked out the chits one by one from the pot. Persons whose names were picked were declared elected. 30 members were elected for 30 wards. Out of the 30 elected members, 12 members were appointed to the annual committee, 12 members to the garden committee and 6 to the tank committee. Gold committee were also elected. To be eligible for being chosen through the Kudavole system, one must be between 35 and 70 years of age, should possess one veli, that is 6.6 acres of land, and a house built on taxable land, should have knowledge about Vedas and mantras. Persons who killed Brahmin, women, cows or children were disqualified. Thieves, drunkards and people who had undergone punishments were also disqualified from contesting elections. Southern Bharat flourished under Rajaraja, and under his son Rajendra Chola, the Chola Empire reached greater heights. Andhra, parts of Madhya Pradesh, Bengal, Orissa and Bihar, Sri Lanka and most parts of South Asia came under the Chola rule. Art, literature, architecture and society flourished. Our Veera Vanakams to the Cholas.